Lynn is the head of research at NatWest, where she leads customer insight and research to drive digital transformation for more than 20 million customers.
For the last 16 and a half years, I've been helping companies innovate through customer insights, create AI technologies with putting humans at the center of everything.
Lynn has built and scaled research teams from the ground up at organisations including Jaguar Land Rover, Dyson and NatWest.
I still remember this when I moved into industry at Jaguar Land Rover. Actually, I found it really lonely.
A mother of twins, Lynn brings a powerful mix of vision, presence, and pragmatism to leadership.
I remember the scan and it's like, oh, I found a heartbeat. It sounds good. And we're like, and she's like, wait a minute. And we're like, what? She's like, and another heartbeat. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Her journey includes bold career pivots and multiple promotions, all shaped by a deep belief in direction, self-awareness, and having the right people around you.
The number one reason I am successful is not just like hard work and determination. I think that's just the foundation. But I think being part of a tribe of really just ambitious, successful, authentic women, I think that kind of shaped me because it made it like so normal.
In this episode, Lynn shares what it really takes to lead and thrive, having a clear vision, understanding what's in your control, finding your tribe and your sponsors, and learning how to stay present through the juggle of ambition, motherhood and life.
6 months in, they closed the company.
Oh no!
Thank you so much for joining us. I follow you on LinkedIn and I love the stuff you post on there. So I'm really grateful to have you here today.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Do you want to start off by giving us a little bit of an introduction to who you are and what you do?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Lynn Slater. For the last 16 and a half years, I've been helping companies innovate through customer insights. So helping companies like Jaguar Land Rover create AI technologies with putting humans at the center of everything and human behavior, working with Dyson to help them innovate with like what's the latest and greatest for AI in health and beauty. And then moving on to NatWest, where I set up the research function in commercial banking as the first hire ever in the company's history.
Crikey.
It used to be all agency, right? You'd hire an agency to do all your research, but I was brought in to set up the function.
Amazing.
And then for the last 3.5 years, I've been helping the retail banking, like NatWest Retail Banking, set up and scale their research practice. So everything that we launch, whether it's in web, mobile, or like a brand new proposition, it's always got user research baked in. So we know we're solving a real problem and not just building for the building's sake.
Amazing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
How did your career journey lead you to where you are today then? How did all that start?
Yeah. How did you get into it all?
Yeah, I think like the best advice I got for careers is career is not a ladder, it's a jungle gym. So when I went to university, I meant to become a doctor. So in Canada, you have to do your undergrad, take the right courses, and then apply for med school. And in third year, I discovered this thing called human factors or ergonomics, and it kind of combined all the things I love, which is art, science, and engineering into one field to help build better workplaces and better products and new technologies. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally for me. So after I graduated, I got to work for the health region in Alberta, one of the largest health regions at the time, helping them, reevaluate healthcare spaces. How do you make it safer for the staff and for the patients? I did that for a few years, but I knew my heart was in R&D. So how do I build new technologies? And I don't know why, maybe because the UK has a really good reputation in Canada for their master's program. I said, if I get a master's in the UK, it'll open up the doors to working in R&D. So I'm just going to go for it. I moved to the UK on my own 13 years ago.
Wow.
I got my master's and then got jobs in R&D ever since. So
that's
really been a dream come true.
Great.
So taking that courage and moving from Canada on your own kind of just really started that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. What was that experience like?
I think it was really exciting, but it's interesting to think back because I had never been to the UK or Europe before moving here to
Well, you decided to move there.
Yeah, because I went to Loughborough University and it's really famous, at least in Canada. Tons of Canadians go to Loughborough, come back and like create a really great career in human factors or ergonomics. So I knew Loughborough or some places in London, like UCL, also have a great human computer interaction program. But I remember at the time, I don't know, it was stressful. The paperwork, you had to prove you had enough money. So I did like
Yeah.
a combination of self-funded and student loans to get abroad. And I think the craziest thing is I moved to the UK the year before the tuitions went up. So if I had waited one more year, as an international student, I wouldn't have been able to afford
Oh,
it.
wow.
crikey.
Yeah.
It's funny how things work
I was
out.
going to say, that's definitely karmic forces driving you right down the right path.
And for me, like when I think about my career, I always think about vision or like having direction. And I remember telling my husband, like, in the 2000s, my boyfriend at the time, I said, you know what, I'd really like to do my master's in, 1 to 10 years. And he was like, why don't you go next year? Like instead of putting it off. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could. And just applied, got all my paperwork together and just went for it.
Wow,
Did you leave your
amazing.
husband at home?
I did.
You
Yeah, he was
did?
my boyfriend at the time. We were apart for 18 months or something like that because after I graduated from my master's, the UK only gave you 4 months to work on your student
Oh,
visa. It
okay.
used to be longer, but then
Yeah.
when I graduated in 2013, it was only 4 months. So you had to find a company, you had to like wow them, and hopefully maybe they would sponsor you.
Wow.
And Jaguar
okay.
did. They sponsored me. I
Oh,
think I forgot the timelines, but I was doing my master's. I went back to Canada during spring break or whatever we call it in the UK. And then my fiance proposed. And then I got a year later, I got my sponsorship. And then we got married and I brought him over.
that's lovely.
Oh,
So are
amazing.
your family still in Canada and his family's still there too? So do
Yeah.
you go there a lot or?
The only thing is like the weirdest timing of it all, his brother and my sister-in-law used to live down the street from us, and my sister-in-law got a crazy promotion to work near Newcastle with General Electric. So she moved to their family moved to the UK 4 months before I did.
Oh,
So we're going to
wow.
see them during Christmas actually. So
Oh,
we've
that's
just
nice.
been building up our life in the UK together.
Yeah. How have you sort of navigated creating new friends and almost building your community here?
I think when you're in university, it was so fun. Like Loughborough had a great student union, and they had a lot of fitness activities, so you could like go socialize, you could like take fitness classes, and it was always so much going on. So that was really easy. But I still remember this when I moved into industry at Jaguar Land Rover. Actually, I found it really lonely, and I think the big and no offense, but I find my British coworkers. It takes a really long time to warm up to people. Like, of course, everyone's very kind, very polite, but like they don't really invite you out or like to go to
Right.
special things for like quite a while. I would say like maybe 12 months to warm up.
Gosh, yeah.
And I think during that time, I remember talking with one of my engineers at Jaguar Land Rover, and I was like, you know what? He asked me about my weekend, and I was like, I was kind of lonely because I don't know many people here, and just being that honest with him, he's like, oh, come out with us, like come to the cinema,
that's
come to the
good.
show. And that was just perfect because then that helped us create like a really great small group of friends. And then by the time my husband came, we had like this awesome group that we could go to
Oh,
concerts with
great.
and nights out and festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a British thing. We leave people to themselves, thinking they've got their own friends. They don't need to join us. So maybe that when you said
Yeah.
to him, "Oh, I'm a bit lonely," he was like, "Oh, come and join us." sort of thing.
Exactly.
You didn't
Yeah.
realise that you don't
Once you're
have any
honest
friends.
like that, they like the floodgates just open.
Yeah, people just get wrapped up in their own lives a lot of the
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what would you say have been the pivotal or defining moments that have shaped your path to leadership?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so I already mentioned how just finding the field that you love. So, for me, when I was younger, I love arts. I loved writing. But then by the time I got to high school, which is year 9 here, it got kind of stamped out of me. I come from an immigrant background, so you really have 2 choices, like doctor or engineer. So I would have just went on and become a doctor. I think I would have been a pretty good doctor, but then I would have missed out on all this innovation. So I think finding the right field for you that allows you to like play to all your strengths, like creativity, but like science and design and everything. So that was one. But the second one that is kind of like not straightforward was when I was at Jaguar. I put my hand up to do a lot of things, so did the work. But when the PR team came to the labs, they had never let the PR team into the Jaguar labs because obviously you're coming up with new technologies. There's a lot of potential patents, so they don't want anyone going in there.
Yeah.
But there's this one year, the PR manager was like really, really adamant that we should open our doors. So I put up my hand for me and my team to like get in there. So we got PR trained. We did this special proof of concept that showed you like the future with intelligent vehicles. Like I ended up presenting to the British press, the Europe press, and even Autocar magazine, which is like this big magazine publication. And through that and other activities like leading design innovation workshops for the whole research department, through all those different things, a sponsor found me at Jaguar. And I think that was a defining moment in my career. And I'll never know, like, was I successful because I had a sponsor, or did that sponsor find me because he knew I was going to be successful? Anyway, yeah, so then I got to spend time with him kind of like on career coaching, life coaching. But to have somebody so experienced in the field that's been there, they just have this different perspective and they see stuff in you that you can't even imagine because you haven't
Been there.
you don't see the same things that they have. And what he did with me was he shared with me the most powerful leadership retreat he'd ever been on. They talked about my day in 20 years. I've talked about this on my LinkedIn, but essentially it is, okay, how old are you today? Imagine yourself in 20 years and write down everything in present tense. I wake up at this time, I eat this, I drive this, I live here, and just map out your whole day hour to hour and see where you're at. And because he did that, I thought I'd be like some VP at a Fortune 500 company by the time I was 50. But when I did that exercise, I was like, oh my gosh, the life that I'm building towards is actually much more flexible and less intense. Like I'm not like running from meeting to meeting, like putting out fires, blah, blah, blah. So because I did that exercise, I just kind of reframed how I approached my career with a little bit more flexibility and like less of that intensity, you know, where you're driving towards one goal.
That's a great exercise to do.
Oh, it's so
actually.
good. I think I didn't do it for 5 years, but yeah. So what happens is when you have that day, visualize, like, who are you spending your time with? How old are all the people that you love and care about, right? And how do they fit into your day-to-day?
It really gets you to think, like, how are you spending your time?
Yeah. So then off the back of that, you create like a really loose skeleton of a 10-year plan and a 5-year plan. And then because you slow down, you think about those things, then you have a sort of direction that you may not have done so. I think a lot of people with their careers, it's a little bit hands off. It's kind of like they ride a wave and hope they get where they need to be. But when you're intentional and you set that vision, it really helps you to direct your attention. But also, it helps you to spot those opportunities that, like, maybe it would have.
This is where I wanted to be in 20 years' time. And actually, if I take that path today, that might get me to that point. And if you haven't done that exercise, you would just maybe go along the wrong path.
Yeah, exactly. And then a third one that I realized on the way here is one of the number one things about my success, the number one reason I am successful is not just like, hard work and that determination. I think that's just the foundation. But I really did find my tribe. So when I was at Jaguar Land Rover, I applied to be part of a program for postdocs from Cambridge and Oxford to start their first startup, launch their first startup, right? So I got to be a facilitator for this entrepreneurship program. And I think because I was a facilitator for that program, I met brilliant women, like the absolute, the cream of the crop. And then I met all these amazing leaders that showed me what it was like to be authentic and real and successful. And, Shima, I'll call it Tashima, and Anne as well, the directors of the program, they were just so authentically themselves. Shima loved pink. And at that time, I was in engineering, so I dressed like a man. So I had the slacks, I had the button up. But then Shima's favorite color was pink. She used to wear bright pink lipstick. And then that just gave me permission to, like, wear dresses, like, be
feminine.
Be feminine. You can totally embrace it and be successful. And I think being part of a tribe of really just ambitious, successful, authentic women, I think that kind of shaped me because it made it like so normal. And also, I'll call out to my sister-in-law, Monica. She's been like an executive in high-level positions for General Electric for decades. So seeing these people helps you normalize what success looks like.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
success can look like you, can have long hair, can wear a dress, can be smart and eloquent and hard and assertive, like all those things.
Yeah.
It's just not one definition of leadership.
Absolutely. You've got to completely reframe that image of what you think success actually looks like.
And what we're forced to believe that it looks like as well. Because
And
we
high
have that
performance.
image, like you said, you wore a masculine outfit because that's how we're programmed to think. You've got to be masculine to do well and to be a leader. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? You touched on your sponsor.
Yeah.
Now, I personally have never heard of that.
Oh.
I don't know I don't think Shauna has either, but explain that a little bit more to us. How do you go about, number one, how do you find a sponsor? Or how does a sponsor find you? Is it a very well-known thing? Or,
what do they do? How do you know they're going to help?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited to share that with you. Okay, so in your career, you're going to need two things. Well, three. One, your tribe of inspiring, kick-ass people. But the second one is a mentor, right? So have a wide range of mentors. You can pay for them. They can be part of your network. They've been where you've been and they can give you advice. I've been through that problem. This is how I solve it. You can try this, right?
Yeah.
That's a coach. That's a coach, and you can pay for it, or it can be part of your network, a mentor. And the third one is a sponsor, which is a very senior leader, typically the level above your boss or beyond if you can, that they find you somehow. So you have to make it really easy, for them to
How do they
spot
find
you.
you?
Exactly. Like when I was at Jaguar Land Rover, I was in those PR events. I was in front of the press. I was leading department-wide workshops, those kind of things.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
To be visible.
To be visible at the
take
end
the
of the day.
opportunities, put yourself out there.
Yeah, because the great work is fantastic and it does get recognized, but not in the same way. It doesn't have the amplifying effect. So hopefully a senior leader sees you, and what they do is, first of all, I believe that when a sponsor finds you, it creates this halo effect where you're like, oh, somebody sees potential in me, and they have this wisdom of like really hard leadership lessons, and they still want to kind of support and see you grow. So the role of a sponsor that's different from a mentor is they're a higher seniority, and then I think of them as binoculars. Like they have the binoculars on to look out for the next big opportunity for you, connect you with the right people, talk about you in rooms that you're not a part of, link up to new roles that may not be posted yet, tell you about changes that you can prepare for. They have all this knowledge that is so much higher than what what your boss knows.
Interesting. So they literally will find someone that they think has the potential to be amazing, to excel, to move on, to be promoted, all those sorts of things. And then they advocate for you.
Exactly. And I think the best thing about this podcast and to be in this part of our career is now we can be sponsors.
Yeah.
So it's not just about developing our teams and getting the best out of our people, but it's like, look around in your department. Who are those future leaders that you really want to bet on?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because I mean, you hear mentoring so much, like that's so common, but I feel like sponsorship is less
spoken about.
Sponsoring someone, is less spoken about.
But just imagine like somebody that is above your boss's level, the untapped networks, the untapped and unadvertised opportunities that they know about that people don't. It's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you a story that sometimes you can coordinate a sponsor finding you. So I think one of the most important qualities of being a leader is talent, right? You got to be able to spot talent. So when you're hiring a team, what are you looking for? What are those people that are going to make your team amazing? But what I've learned recently is you also have to spot talent in your senior leaders. Like, who do you want to work for in 5, 10 years? And then just get around them like somehow. Like one time I eventually got a second sponsor, and a new leader started at my company, and they really impressed me. Their approach, their background, what they had done. So I kind of like, when I was in the office, I kind of like just kept on looping around their desk, trying to like run into like a quick introduction somehow. And I circled the whole day for this like, organic cute meet or whatever. And it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, it's over. Like, I'll just try it in the next week or whatever. And then on my way out, I caught them and we ended up in the lift together. I got to know them a bit more. And they invited me to like a really exclusive project launch that I got to be like really hands-on in.
Wow.
So yeah, you got to be able to spot the talent in your people and your
Yeah.
leaders and just get around them. Sometimes physically, like circling them
Yeah.
so you can
Like a
orchestrate it.
vulture.
Yeah, a little bit like
Dive.
that.
Love that. That's brilliant.
Amazing. And when did you become a mother and how did that fit into your sort of career journey? Did it change anything about you or your life?
I think like with the kids thing, I don't think my husband and I really thought it through. So it's a bit cheesy, so I'll share it with you guys. But when we decided to start a family, I just felt like we were so in love. I was like, what can you do with all this love? Like, we're doing well in our career. Like, maybe we should start a family. And I think what was really great about our decision was we thought it'd be an interesting experience, like, climbing a mountain. I don't think either of us were like, if we have a family, we'll be complete. Or like, if we have a child, it'll like fill this gap in me. It was just more like, I think it's gonna be hard, but let's just
Give it a
see,
go.
right? It's just an
Yeah.
experience in life to live life to its fullest. So we decided to start a family. And, for me, I'm like a recovering overachiever. So all my family and my friends tease me. So we tried to have a family, to start a family. And I said like, okay, if I get pregnant on my first cycle, that means when we go back to Canada, we can tell all of our friends and family. But that doesn't happen. That's not realistic. Like people take years. Like you don't know what your fertility journey is.
Yeah.
It's completely out of your control. But I managed to do that. Or we
Wow.
managed to do that
Wow.
on the first cycle. We got to tell our parents that we were pregnant, and then flew back to Canada in January for Christmas. It was really wonderful. And I flew back to the UK in January. And then when I got my 14-week scan, it was my first one. We had twins.
Wow.
Like,
Are the twins in the family? Was it
No,
completely...
It was completely random. And the funny thing about my boys is they're non-identical. So non-identical tends to be
Wow, that's
a
really...
genetic thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So with identical, it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone
Yeah,
it
just
splits,
splits
right?
again, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Mm.
but with I just like popped 2 eggs and then
Wow.
Wow.
full family.
Your body went, we're getting pregnant.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
First attempt, we're doing this.
Yeah.
What was that moment like, finding out you having twins?
Okay, it's a very special moment because I remember the scan and it's like, oh, I found a heartbeat. It sounds good. And we're like, and she's like, wait a minute. And we're like, what? She's like, and another heartbeat. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was so distressed in that moment and like in disbelief that I didn't even notice my husband had left the room. He like went into the hallway. He couldn't handle it. Like it just, and then I hope my kids don't see this one day. But like on the drive home, we called her best friend. And we're like, and they were so happy. Like I called so many. Like called my sister. I was crying, and she's like, "That's fantastic." I called my mom. I was crying, and she's like, "No, this is amazing."
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
It is
though.
nice. What's it like being the mum to twins?
It's amazing. I don't know how we survived the early days. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
You don't have enough hands, surely. in the
Yeah.
early days.
Yeah. But there are like different pillows, so you can still breastfeed and stuff like that. But I think for me, having twins is like winning the lottery. It's like they are my
Aw.
once in a lifetime. The weird thing is because the twins were such a surprise. Sometimes when I meet people, senior leaders, like women senior leaders, they'll be like, I should have had twins. Because you only have one pregnancy, one career break. and-
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point, actually. If you do
Mm.
only have one, then you've got two at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah, that's a great point, actually.
Have you experienced any challenges or setbacks in your career journey?
Yeah. I would like to say, like, if you want to see my successes, go on my LinkedIn because, like, everyone shouts about their successes. But I think with the podcast and, like, talking to people, I think it's really important that you talk about all the setbacks because your career and especially your leadership journey is never going to be linear. And it's filled with all these crazy setbacks and challenges. And each year there's, like, this new thing that you didn't
Yeah.
quite anticipate. So the one that I will talk about is when it was 2019, I felt like I was kind of hitting a ceiling at Jaguar, but then I wanted to kind of see if I could move out of automotive because I thought, I think it's time to try another industry. And I wanted to work for Dyson Health and Beauty because, like, I'm in the UK and Dyson's like kind of close. Like, could I work for their health and beauty? And then a job from a Dyson Automotive showed up. So I was like, well, I can do Dyson Automotive. I'm in automotive right now. I took that job, moved my young family, the kids were 3 at the time, across the UK to Bristol. I was like, okay, if I get a job at Dyson Automotive in 3 years, I'm going to move over to their home division and hopefully work in the innovation department. And what was not expected, we had this horrific time with childcare. There were wait lists. Like it was very, very challenging. The kids were in 2 different nurseries. But anyway, I settled in. And then 6 months in, they closed the company.
Oh, no.
It was very...
Oh, you thought that you'd landed like your dream career path, and then that happened.
And it was one of those closures where it's like, my family was from Canada, so I didn't experience the in-person, but essentially they got everyone in and they said, the company's closing. Okay, bye. And then you couldn't come back, right? That was the end of an era. So I didn't expect that. And it was really stressful. I guess like it didn't feel personal because like the whole company shut down. But then, I had young children. We all understand that pressure of like providing. So what I did was I wish I had bought the book, but one of my engineering managers gave us this book called Winning at Interviews by Alan something. We can link it afterwards. I read that. I did 14 interviews in 8 weeks.
Wow.
One company made me do 6 interviews and they still declined me. It was
that's a long process.
I met so many of their leaders. It was so disappointing. But like I kept interviewing. And in the end, I got 5 job offers.
Wow.
And the one that I went for was Dyson Health and Beauty Innovation. Yeah.
So, is it still in Bristol or did you have to move?
Oh, it was still in Bristol.
Oh, wow. How funny how that all worked out.
See, it's that 20-year plan she had.
Yeah.
Writing it all down.
Well, that's it, leading with intention and everything that you do. Yeah. And you gave us a top tip before, and you kind of alluded it to a little bit there about interviewing, but you said interview every year, no matter how happy you are.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because what we forget is like interviewing is just like a muscle. So if you're flexing the muscle every 3 years, like how strong can it be?
Yeah, that's true.
And the best thing about interviewing every year is that you have an up-to-date CV. Because it's so easy for it to just collect dust. And when you update your CV, something happens with your mind to say like, actually, how did I make impact? How did I show up? Like, what was my actual like contributions and value to the business? So it's like a really good psychological trick. Interview internally, externally, whatever. But the key is new CV and just get out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
great
I
advice.
really like that.
How do you practice self-care and prevent burnout? Yeah.
I think like for me personally, I've already burned out. So it was during the pandemic, things just got too out of hand. And, we were working, it was like a combination of the kids were in nursery and all the nurseries were closed. And then the kids were starting school. So then the schools are closed. I completely crashed out. So because I've been through burnout, I can recognize it better. But, in preparing for this podcast, I kind of created like my own framework called the VCS. It's also the name of our very annoying virtual machines at work. So for like a really successful career, I think we need vision, understand what we control, and S is the savor part of it. So for control and with burnout, like to prevent burnout, you really need to understand what is in your control and what isn't. And like, I'm going to take a second to think about it. Like, we actually control so little. Like, we don't control the external, like the macroeconomics and all that kind of stuff. But even to ourselves, like we think we have control over our bodies, but like think of the last time you had a stomach ache or a headache or a cramp.
Yeah, we're definitely not in control.
You're not in control. And then the only thing you can really control is your mind and your reaction and the decisions you make. So I think it's really important to hone in on like, whoa, what's in my control? And I think some people, especially women and minorities, when something bad happens or they make a mistake, they just assume it's their fault. Like, oh, I did something wrong. Whereas like certain people, especially men, will be like, the conditions weren't right for me to succeed there. On to the next one. So I think there's a real element of self-compassion and reminding yourself that you can make a mistake, but you're not the mistake.
Yeah.
So I think that's helpful in self-care. And the last one is around the S, right? The savior element. I kind of struggle when people say like, you should be present. It sounds like so patronizing and it sounds like a chore. Like, what do you mean be present? I'm right here. But I find thinking about a savor, like a savoring moment, just helps to ground me. So are you guys sweet or savory people?
I'm
I'm
savory.
savory, I
I'm
think.
savory as
Yeah.
well. But when I have a good dessert, do you know, like that
Mm.
chocolate cake, when you eat it
Mhm.
really slowly and like kind of like taste every element of it, that's how I approach life now. After my burnout is like I try to find these moments to savor. So it could be like when you give your kids a hug, you just like savor it and
Yeah, a little
smell
bit
their
longer.
hair.
Mm.
It could be like before you start your day, just like drinking that coffee and like just smelling it, you know? So
Mm.
finding as many moments to savor throughout the day as possible, it helps you feel grounded and
Yeah.
so thankful.
And you're quite intentional about that then? Do you kind of go through each day and really try to recognize the good things in each day?
Yeah. So that's a big part of my process for the last 5 years now because when I had twins, it was a high risk pregnancy, so there's a chance that I wouldn't be
Yeah.
okay. There's a huge chance that the kids wouldn't be okay because that's just the reality of a twin pregnancy. So I found this article that said mothers that meditate have like just feel better. So I started meditating about 10 years ago. And one of the meditations said, I was just using an app at the time, and it was a guided meditation. And one of the ones was around being present. But he kind of said it like, you know, if you're always chasing towards a goal, then you're living for the future.
Mm.
So,
Wow, yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm
Mm.
always
really
living for
true,
the
yeah.
future. It's like, oh, I'm going to deal with this after this thing because this thing is really hard. So I'm just going to focus. But after that's done, then I'll do this. But no,
Yeah.
you gotta live for today. So after I heard that, I started to be more intentional. And it's as simple as every morning, I write down 3 intentions. So an intention just starts with a be sentence. So, and it could be like, be joyful, be thankful. Some days it's around be healthy. Other days it's like, be charismatic because I'm doing something. Other days it's like, be organized because it's really important in my workload right now. So just set your day with 3 intentions. I do bullet journaling. So um, every day or like, you know, every few days, I put hearts and then everything I'm thankful for.
Oh,
that's
really
great.
It makes a huge
nice.
difference. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the kids said a funny joke. Like, we had a great dinner together. Whatever.
Oh, that's really
Do
good.
you have like a set time that you do that? So it's like part of your routine, or is it just as and when? Is it quite flexible?
Yeah, it's flexible, but the best outcomes I get is like if I do it right before work, and it literally takes 2 minutes because like be, and you're ready for the day.
Yeah, setting out how you want to have that day, how
Yeah,
it goes
and I
out for
suppose
you.
doing that consistently, it becomes part of something you do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about being like with intentions is it's around being. So it's not about like I'm gonna work out 3 times a week. That's
Yeah.
like
Pressure.
that's just pressure. But if your intention is I'm gonna be healthy, then it's about your whole day.
Yeah.
What do you give your energy to? What are you eating? Do you go for that workout? How are you sleeping? So it's like about being healthy, and then it's about all those decisions that help you
Yeah.
support that.
It makes it less of a chore.
It
Mhm.
does.
Feel, yeah.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you get into the mindset to meditate? Because I've tried meditating, and then
Yeah.
I've got my mind going, oh, but I've got to do this, and I've got to do that,
Of
and I've got to do
course.
this, and I've got to do that. So, how do you, especially being a mum of twins
Yeah.
and a very, the job you have and everything, how do you find that time, and
Oh,
how do you get into that frame of mind to meditate?
My favorite was like meditating in the morning, but it didn't work out with the kids' flow. And like it was just, I was coming down too late. So I can't meditate in the morning anymore. So for me, depending on what we're cooking and how long it takes, I love an after work meditation. But then sometimes it doesn't happen. So it has to be after the kids are down. And for me, it's like habit stacking. So I
Yeah.
got this beautiful candle as part of like a speaker's gift when I was at a leadership conference earlier this year. So I light the candle. And then I do an app. So I've done mindfulness. That's how I started for years, which is just focus on your breath, feel the air going out, that kind of thing. But what I really love is actually mantra meditation. So essentially, it's about choosing a word or two. There's lots of apps that support it. And then when you're calm, you just say those 2 words, and they have like a kind of vibration effect. And
Oh, wow.
if mindfulness, I think, is like like paddle, doggy paddling for
Yeah.
your mind, but mantra meditation like gets you to sink deeper.
Oh, okay.
So make it like as part of whenever it suits you, but like having a nice habit stacking, like a candle,
Yeah.
that really helps. And I think the other thing about meditation is it doesn't have to be sitting down. Like some people, meditation could be sailing, it could be the walk, like just anything that kind of takes your
Okay.
mind off. Because the most effective meditation that you get over time is it's kind of like turning the TV on, in your mind off. And sometimes it flickers on and off, but at least you're turning down the volume.
Yeah.
So even if it's not completely clear, it doesn't have to be. It's more like I'm making space just to turn down the volume.
Yeah. No, that's a good
Make
idea.
the noise less.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the biggest obstacle you faced in getting promoted to leadership?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's only like after it's happened that I and also preparing for this podcast that I kind of had this aha moment. Whereas like the biggest barrier to your promotion is the time in the company. That's what I've come to realize is like the company is measuring your performance in terms of what they've seen for you. So if you've been there 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's how they're judging your performance and your readiness for a promotion. Whereas if you go to another company, they're looking at you for your whole career.
Yeah.
So that just opens things up. So unfortunately, like I'm really happy for my friends that stayed at companies and got promoted. But for me, excuse me, I found the promotions by leaving. And sometimes it wasn't even out of my own accord. It was like through my managers that left the company. They're like, you don't have to, you don't have to build something here. You can look elsewhere. I'm like, what? I'm just getting started. Why wouldn't you want me to stay here? And he was absolutely right. Like it was time to find it like another part of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
amazing.
having people that have your back as well,
Yeah.
always helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I guess as well, sometimes leaving, it doesn't necessarily fast track, but it maybe makes those promotions go a little bit quicker than if you stayed in the company.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also when you go somewhere new, you're working on yourself a little bit harder because you want to impress and do well in that new position. Whereas sometimes I think if you've been in a job a long time, you might become a little bit complacent and changing just shifts that, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah. And if you're in the same role, you're likely doing the same type of work.
Yeah.
Even though the topics and things might
Not
change.
stretching yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
So I know it's very uncomfortable and it feels scary, especially right now. But if you have the opportunity to join another company, it's not forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What would you say is the ultimate secret to your success?
I think I alluded it to all of it so far, but number one, that tribe of incredible, inspiring women, or just people that inspire you, right? Like it's not in an intimidating way. It's just like you're just a person, but you achieved all these things, so it brings like a humanity to success. So find your tribe of inspiring people. Number two is having that vision and like resetting it all the time, and then. The third one is that sponsor piece, like these people that have this experience and this perspective that like you haven't tapped into yet.
Yeah.
That's been amazing.
Oh, okay. And how do you find the confidence to approach those people? Like if you think about some viewers that might be thinking, God, I'd love to do that, but I'm just too anxious. I'm nervous.
Like they really inspire me.
Yeah,
and
I'm too nervous to approach them. How would you?
Well, there's two things. Like, because the sponsors, you can't really ask them.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of like they see you and then they approach you. But you can send the signals, right?
Yeah.
Like even with your manager, like, oh, I'm looking for a sponsor. Like, do you know anyone? And then also, lean into any programs that are available in your network or at work. Even if it's like a mentorship program, that's still like better than nothing. And then the other one is, oh my gosh, if you ever get a chance to have a 15-minute career chat with somebody really senior on your team, just take it.
Yeah.
Because in my career, we had a new executive join. So he's trying to get to know people. He put in listening sessions. He put in different like spotlights for projects. But he also put in career coaching. 15 minutes, that's all. And I was shocked that no one in my department had really only one person had taken it up for it. But why wouldn't you? Because you have to remember executives and senior leaders are extremely busy, but 15 minutes, they can do 15.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And I think as well, you gave us another top tip before, something I think it was connect with inspiring people on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
And this is a shift that I've noticed. So probably a year ago now, I'd go onto LinkedIn and I'd find it actually quite a difficult place. I just found it a bit dull and drained my energy. Whereas I've made a conscious effort to connect with people that do inspire me, that are role models, that are authentic and all of those wonderful things. And I think that's something that you said people should do is connect even just on LinkedIn, not even in person.
Yeah. You don't have to suddenly become this big prolific writer. If you're trying to get into LinkedIn, just find great people and comment on the stuff that actually resonates with you. Because a lot of people are writing, just like putting it out into the ether and nothing comes back. So if you message them, if you comment, like those things are really appreciated by the author because it is like very vulnerable just putting it out there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And if you want to reach out to anyone, 15-minute chats. That's all. 15 minutes.
I think lots of people as well, especially like you say the 15 minutes, lots of people do want to help. It's just their capacity to help. So if you're just asking quick 15 minutes, be prepared for it, make it really valuable.
Yeah.
What is your advice for aspiring leaders?
Yes. Okay. So I already touched on it, but like around the VCS, right? So have a vision, understand what is in and out of your control, and then always, try to be present. So you're not always, living for the future. I think, especially as recovering overachievers, it's really easy for us to like on to the next one. The goalposts have changed. So I would really frame it as that. But what I've learned, like the practicalities of being a great leader is I wish I had more practice with super difficult conversations and got comfortable with giving constructive feedback. I think early in my career, it used to give me like the sweats, right? Giving feedback. Oh.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But now, I just wish I had leaned into difficult conversations earlier in my career because now when I have them, the stakes are so much higher. They're so much more complicated. So if you're like just starting out, or if you're a senior, if you're a lead, if you're a manager, just like have those difficult conversations with your team, with your peer, with your boss. Like being able to be constructive during a really difficult situation really helps to like increase your leadership potential. Another thing is have good self-awareness. So don't be afraid of seeking feedback because that's what your leadership team is looking for. How self-aware is somebody? How proactive is somebody? And the other thing that I found a little bit surprising is when we're looking at succession planning, we want to see that somebody was able to deliver through others. So it's it's a little bit harder if you don't manage your team to showcase that. So if there's an opportunity for you to fix a broken process, to take on a working group, all those things that show that, hey, people didn't have to listen to me, but I organized it and I delivered. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. Take on that responsibility, get something done, even if you're not actually doing it yourself. Is that what you're sort of saying? Like using other people, other resources, getting jobs done. I guess lots of people struggle to delegate as well. And as a leader, you need to know how to delegate effectively. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, one like big aha moment I had like within the last 6 months as a leader is for me, I've always focused on creating a great team, like an inspired, motivated, engaged team, and get them on really strategic, high visibility, impactful work. So good team, great work, job done. But actually, I was following a Yu Zhao. She is the writer for The Uncommon Executive. She said that actually companies don't actually want to promote great leaders. What they want to see is if we gave you this much resource, this is the impact that you're able to have. But if we give you more resource, you can have more impact. So it's just not about, hey, you're a great people leader. Hey, you are a great collaborator. It's more about what were you able to do with the resources we gave you? Nice. And if we gave you more, could you have more impact?
Yeah.
That's a big shift for me. It's not just about culture. It's not just about the work, but it's about being able to demonstrate how effective you are with the resource. Because I guess I don't think about people as resources.
No, I know. That is quite an interesting perspective, actually. But it's right. Yeah. Like, what can you do with what you're given? Yeah. Getting the most out of that almost.
Yeah. What's one lesson you wish you'd learned earlier about your career growth inside big organizations?
I think it's around, I talked about the visibility and understanding what you control. I don't know, this is maybe a little bit controversial, but I saw on LinkedIn that there is this one woman that said, men build relationships for alliances and women build relationships for belonging. And I was like, what? But I would say one of the lessons I've learned is around like, where can you build those strategic alliances and not just like work with cool people and like have fun and do great work and be recognized for it. But it's actually like, how can you be more strategic I'm in a leadership program for director level talent, and looking through the list of skills that they want you to rate yourself on. One of it, obviously, communications, ability to lead a team, but another one on it was like political savvy, which I'm like, I feel
Oh,
like I'm aware of it, but I don't act on it because I
Yeah.
just can't. But no, it kind of doesn't hold you back, but it's limiting your full development if you can't be more strategic about the relationships you build. So I've had it in my career where I knew I should get on a project, and I made some feeble attempts, and I was like, there's pushback on those 2 attempts. So I kind of like backed off, but I really should have pushed for it. And it was because I didn't want to work for that person or like we're close to that person, but it would have been
Yeah.
a really good strategic alliance. And I missed out. So I think that's a wisdom that was not very clear to me earlier on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And why is it personally important for you to have your own career outside of being a mum?
Oh, because that's such a good question. I don't know. Well, okay, I think for me, what it comes down to is like I come from an immigrant background, so we grew up very working class, and my parents worked multiple jobs, and that's why they wanted me to become a doctor, so that I wouldn't have to work as many jobs as they did. So I think the reason I'm so passionate about my career is, one, I love the intersection of human behavior and technology, but the other one is like I really value financial independence. That's really, really important to me. And I'm going to say something that like maybe might hurt some people's feelings, but a lot of families, when they think about starting a family and then returning to work, I think many families just do an X to Y, like, okay, this is how much childcare is, which is insane in the UK.
Yes.
Absolutely insane.
Yes.
And this is how much you earn. So therefore, it's not worth it. And there's lots of reasons to not go back full time for your own family reasons. But I guess what I would want our listeners to think about is, if you take the decision to step back only because of the money, then actually you're limiting your long-term earning potentials. But if you take a step back for XYZ, then that's totally fine. But if you only make the decision based on X and Y and the calculations, you're putting so much lifetime earning potential and also your pension off the table. So just think about that.
And it's a really short period whilst when children are small. And then once actually they've gone to school or they've left school and not around anymore, you're left without a career anymore because you thought there's no point.
Yeah.
But also you do lose that financial independence as well. If you then have to rely on one income in your family, then you have lost that sense of you going out and earning and having something for yourself.
Yeah, but it comes back to the control and the savor element. Like there's a lot of reasons to like stay home and be with the kids. And if you feel in control about that decision and you see the value and you can really savor it, and that's your decision, and the finances work with your family, that's fantastic. But I just hope like our listeners they don't feel the pressure of just the
numbers,
the hard numbers.
Yeah.
Right now, I want their decision to be much more holistic.
Yeah,
that's good advice.
Really good advice. And how do you define enough? So having enough time, enough progress, and enough presence.
Yes. So that's why I'm so pleased with myself as a recovering overachiever that I really slow down to savor things and to enjoy the moment, or else I would have just, on to the next one. I've been reading a lot of Stoic philosophy over the last few years. And one of, I'm just going to paraphrase here, but one of the definitions of wealth is true wealth is not having everything you want, but wanting everything you have.
Oh, that's great.
I think about that all the time. And my friend, this is just tangentially related. When I had my kids, she's from Spain. She said, remember, people have been able to do more with less. So whenever I get overwhelmed, because obviously we didn't have any family close by when the kids were young, or things were getting really expensive, it's like, no. People have done more with less, so I don't need everything to be perfect.
Yeah,
that's a great
just
mindset.
Grounding yourself again.
Yeah. It is.
And do you have any tools, systems, routines, or maybe boundaries that help you to stay organized or reduce overwhelm, or any sort of life hacks that have just helped you cope with everything?
I don't know. know. I feel like I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I think things that exist but could be better. My husband and I and our family, we try to cook as much as possible. Oh, so actually, I can tell you a life hack is the pressure cooker. So you can get an electric pressure cooker, and seriously, I can make butter chicken in 10 minutes and go take a shower.
Wow.
And like it's done. There's this thing called like pot and pot. So like on the bottom, you cook your curry, and then on the top, because you have a thing like a trivet, then you make your rice. Like
I've seen
it's
these.
so good.
I've seen a brand. I can't remember what the brand is, and I keep thinking I really want one of those.
like Instant Pot or Ninja. Like it's a definitely game changer. I love it so much. I would teach a course on it. Like you can make Vietnamese pho instead of 24 hours in 14 minutes. Like
Wow.
it's crazy.
Whoa. And is it as good?
It's like 80% there, you know?
Oh, brilliant.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's like 80% there for 20% effort.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's probably my ultimate life hack. And then the other thing that I've absolutely loved is one of the shops closed down on our high street, and they built a gym. So my husband and I go to the gym 3 times a week, and it's the best. We go at lunchtime, so it doesn't
Go together.
Yeah,
when the kids are at school.
yeah.
Wow.
It's like it's easy. Well, obviously we get sick and you can't go all the time, but it's so great to like go lift weights, because after 40 or even after 35, your muscle mass declines. You just get like less strength. So yeah, just lifting weights, music in, that kind of thing. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I bet it's quite nice as well to have that routine and go together.
Yeah.
Going on your own.
How old are your twins now?
They're 9.
Oh, wow.
They
9.
just stopped believing in Christmas.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was wondering what age that kind of happens.
I think it's 9.
Yeah, I think Mia said she was about 8. That's Mia's my youngest daughter.
So what year are they in at school?
They're in year 5.
Yeah.
Oh, though you've done quite well, I think, to get through primary school, because we're saying, like, I think the primary schools and children seem to have like got older so much quicker. Like they've lost their childhood so quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like the younger children can be influenced from the older children. So to get to year 5, I feel like actually that's quite good. But
What would you say has been your most vulnerable moment as a parent in leadership?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, when the kids were younger, I used to act like I didn't have kids.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, because I was in such a young organization, in a department of 300, I think only like 3 or 4 people had children. Like it was a very young.
Wow.
So I just like pretended like, yeah, it's cool. I don't have these extra responsibilities that are debilitating. So early on, I tried to like not talk about it, but now, like if you Zoom with me, you can see my twins in the background. I'm much more proud of it, and also my organization is very family friendly. So I really appreciate the fact that I can be more open about being a mom, being a twin mom. I still don't mention it in interviews and stuff like that, because you never know. But in terms of the question about what's my most vulnerable moment, I'm not sure I have an answer to it. I think the thing that I'm most proud of is I used to work when I was sick all the time, just like push through it. And now I'm more like, hey, I'm really sick. The kids gave me another thing. I don't know what it is. I need the day off. I think that is a big deal for me because I used to work all the time.
Yeah. And you can't do your best work when you're feeling rubbish either.
No.
And if you just take the time, try to recover, you can probably get back better. You're going to do a better job and be more focused. But I think loads of people struggle with that, actually taking the time away when they need to. Like you just keep plowing through, don't you? So that's a good thing to be proud of.
Yes.
Going back to, you said that you didn't say to people that you was a mum. Why do you think that is?
Oh, I know for sure, not 100%. It was the environment I was in. So, in my department, there's only 2 people that had children at the time. They were both men. They both had wives that took care of the kids full time.
Right.
Oh no, one of their wives had a career. But anyway, it was just like not part of the vernacular. Like
Not part of the culture to talk about it, or
yeah. And I think the team I was in, like all the women that went on had children left. Like every single one. Before I got there, I'm not sure what happened, but it was just like. That's kind of weird.
What's happened?
Best keep a secret.
Maybe it's a coincidence, but that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I think because it was so not normalized
And
not normal because no one actually knew what you were talking about, except like these men in really, really senior positions had kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think a lot of women do exactly that.
I think there's been a shift. I think, going back sort of 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I think women would show up to work like they don't have any other responsibilities, no children, no family. And then, try to come home and then kind of try and forget about work. And it was just all
And be a mum, a very good mum that's not thinking about work and worrying about
that doesn't
work.
yell.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to do it all. as they
Everyone
say.
yells, I'm saying.
Yeah. What other sacrifices do you think that you have made that no one sees?
Oh my God. What a pressing question. I think for me, I take on a lot of the mental load of like, oh my gosh, I think the shoes are getting too... No, my husband does actually notice, but like he notices the shoes, but I notice the shirts, like the clothes element, that school email. I manage that thing.
That is the worst. It is the worst. I mean, my son goes to a village school. There's 84 children in the school. I must get about 20 notifications an hour about stuff going on.
The parents' WhatsApp group. But actually, I appreciate it because they're like, hey, make sure you send your kid in a jumper today. I'm like, okay. I like
See,
it.
I didn't have that when you were kids. We didn't ever know WhatsApp group or emails.
It does help.
It does help. It's
Yeah.
more like, hey, don't forget this really important thing. Oh my gosh, I forgot
it.
Yeah. Even on the day of, like, hey, remember the thing? You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot it.
Just drive back round to the house, pick it up.
I think the other sacrifice that I guess I've never talked about is like my body, right? Like, not with the kids because they made me appreciate my body more, but like with the work ethic, with the determination, like, man, I've had inflammation, like working through sicknesses. I think my body is keeping score. I read this book called When the Body Says No. And that was really good in terms of like, especially women are more likely to have autoimmune diseases and inflammation because we're not paying attention. So I've been really like, wait, my body's saying something. I gotta listen. So that's
not paying attention and suppressing. I think is another thing, isn't it, that can cause problems in women, particularly.
So I think my body is keeping score. That's why I'm like, I'm doing the meditating. Please, like I've learned my lesson.
Please forgive me. And what would you want other women, mothers, aspiring leaders to take from your story?
Oh, yeah. The main thing is like, I want you to have a vision for yourself. I want you to set big, audacious goals. I'll share with you guys just so I'm on the record. Okay. So my big, hairy, audacious goals are to be a best-selling writer, to get a fully funded MBA, to start a cooking school for pressure cooking.
Yeah, great.
For busy professionals and parents. And then the other one is to write a limited series on like a comedy about working at a failing startup. Those are that's my vision for life.
Love
but then
them.
it comes down to the control thing, right? Like understand what's in and out of your control and savor. So if I never get any of those visions realized, I knew that what was in my control, I wrote every day. I got better at all these different things. And that every day I enjoyed something. I savored it, right? Because what we don't realize is like every day like stacks up to a lifetime.
Yeah, that's
so if you're like, oh, I'll do that when I'm retired. I'll do that when that project is over. You're always living for the future, but you got to savor today.
Yeah.
So I really hope the listeners out there reevaluate what is in their control and make the decisions on how they want to show up, what choices they want to make. And remember, true wealth is not having everything that you want, but like wanting everything that's in front of you.
That's
I
brilliant.
really love that.
Yeah, I really love that.
Really great
It's
advice.
brilliant. I have the final question for you here. It's a big one. If your child could understand... Well, it's children.
Yeah.
If your children could understand everything you do today, what's the one lesson about ambition, love, or resilience you'd want them to remember forever?
Oh, yeah. As like, the recovering overachiever, like I want my children to know that they literally can do anything. Not like my parents were like, you got to take the safe route. Like you got to be like a high paying job. You got to do this one thing. I want my kids to know that they can do anything they want and they can get there because everything is a skill to be learned. That's what, like, if they want to be an artist, they can, if they want to make music, they can be that. And it's just like that skill, that love of learning. One thing I didn't mention enough today is I constantly think about process over outcomes. So it's just about doing something. It's about the process. I used to be a very outcome person, but it's like it's about doing it and learning and doing your best.
Yeah.
And that's gonna get you so far. even for us here today and all the listeners, the fact that you're listening to a career podcast means like you're probably 10% ahead of everyone in the population, like 10% of people in your team, because people are like, doing a lot of brain rot and Netflix, which I also love. But so many people are kind of passive and they're not doing anything to improve themselves because, life is fine. And I think if you're going to put in the time, you can learn anything.
Yeah. And anything's possible.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've really enjoyed that episode. And I think our listeners will
absolutely
take so much from it too.
Oh, can I share the final quote with you?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I wrote this down because I wanted everyone to hear it. So this is from Marcus Aurelius. He's one of the fathers of Stoic philosophy. And this comes back to that element of control, right? I changed the pronouns because obviously it was masculine. So what I want our listeners to really remember as they go throughout the day, especially when they experience setbacks or challenges, this is the quote I want them to remember. She only does what is hers to do and considers constantly what the world has in store for her, doing her best and trusting all is for the best. For we carry our fate with us, and it carries us.
Oh, that's
really
brilliant.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a great quote.
It's so good, especially when things get hard.
Yeah.
You should put that on a little card and put it in your bag so you can just pull it out and read it from time to time.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really kind. That's lovely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
I can't believe, that's fabulous.
Thank you.